You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said about the knife thing. I remember I was asleep as a little boy. I was asleep, man, and next thing I know, because my father's yelling, because like you said, I was scared of my father too. We all were. My father yelling and screaming and, bitch, motherfucker. That was normal in our house, right? So.
And that was you saying that.
Yeah, that was me. I was 6. And bitch, these motherfucking cereal, they getting soggy, bitch. Fuck wrong with you. Fuck wrong with you. So I remember I remember being a kid, and it was about 8 o'clock or whatever, 9 o'clock. I had to go to sleep to go to school in the morning, and I'm trying to ignore my parents fighting, and the next thing I know, I smell gasoline, right? And I'm like, because we upstairs, we had an upstairs, we had the first floor, we had a basement where I'm from, so I'm smelling gas. I'm like, what the fuck? So my mother like, come on, get up. So all the 4 boys, she wake us up. We go downstairs. My father, drunk as fuck, he pouring gasoline on the basement floor. Telling us, I'm about to burn this motherfucker down.
Wow.
I'm about to burn this motherfucker down. And so I'm scared as fuck because outside it's snowing. It's the wintertime.
Oh, man.
So we couldn't go outside. It's the wintertime. And my father, who is the strongest man in the world to me at 6 years old, about to burn my motherfucking house down. You know what I'm saying? And my mother, and I'm like, what the fuck going on? In my head, I'm like, what the fuck going on, mama? And she's trying to calm him down. He's pouring gasoline everywhere. And then he finally put the gasoline can down, and he had the match in his hand.
Oh, shit.
And he was bluffing. He just let the match go. I mean, he just blew the match out, walked upstairs, and went to bed.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. I know that he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, listen to our Pocket Party. Pocket Party.
Oh yeah, baby. So let's start that party in your ear holes.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. Yeah. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to a Pocket Party. Pocket Party. They're wrong.
I love you too, son.
Love you too, Dad. I don't think this is true, Dad, but I think you're the strongest dad on the entire earth.
Dude, I'm not the strongest dad.
Yes, you are.
Oh. That sounds good. Yay!
Oh, and we are back. What's up, guys? We're gonna get a little bit deep on this one. There's gonna be definitely some funny, good, hilarious moments, and a lot of good stuff like that. But at the same time, this is not your morning zoo podcast. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of a round table, and we cover a lot of topics on this one, and we go deep, man. I that's what I love about podcasting, that connection with other people, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I also want to play that little clip right now just to show you that not all dads are bad. Not that these were bad dads, but you'll know what I'm talking about when you hear these stories. There's a lot going on in families all across America, and and if you were one of those kids growing up, and you might have thought, hey, this sucks, and then when you grow up, you realize like, oh, I wasn't the only one. Speaking of which, we have a place where we can gather besides this podcast. I created a Facebook group on Facebook. It's called the Pocket Party Podcast Forum, where we can all gather together, and if there's something that strikes a chord and you're like, oh, I remember when that happened to me, and just start writing in there. Just join the group, and just write something. If you want to put, like a photo of something, or, maybe like a throwback memory of something that we talked about or whatever. It's a Facebook group called Pocket Party Podcast Forum. And I've never started a group before, so I hope I did it right. Let me know what you think. I want to do a couple of shout-outs. Shout out to Doug Veneer. Shout out to Carl Dolphin. Anytime you guys see my pinned tweet, that's that top tweet on Twitter, retweet it and kind of spread the word about this podcast. And as I always say, the number one thing that helps the most is ratings and a review on iTunes. Because from what I understand, 90% of people listen to podcasts on iTunes through their iPod or their phone or whatever. Got a brand new review this morning. I woke up. It says, "Love the Pod" by Podfan99. I just found out about this podcast and one of my new favorites. Consistently funny. Keep it up, party starter. I love it. We put out that bonus episode last night, and that was really great, man. Got a lot of good feedback on that. Isn't that cool when you don't expect something and it's like, wow, bonus episode? That was pretty cool. With old school Denny Johnston, man, that guy has some killer stories. And if you, okay, this comes in from, I got this message from, you can also email me at pocketpartypodcast@gmail.com. I got this message from Carl Dolphin. He writes, "Darren, I was so excited when I first started playing your podcast with Mike Young because it's really good. Thank you and congrats. I was going to send you all this high praise in all caps." And he writes, "And I will later, but I'm coming to the end of his story and I don't feel good. I feel real sorry for the guy. And I'm going to take a break for a bit and finish this later today." Holy crap. Go back and listen to that Mike Young episode, and you'll know exactly what he's talking about. And then he writes, "And we're back." In all caps, he writes, "Darren, I love your podcast!" Exclamation point, like 6 of them. "It sounds great. Your son at the beginning is priceless. Sounds like it's coming from a professional podcast studio. I can't wait for the next episode. Thanks. How in the hell did you learn to do this?" This is a winner. Also, I never written in all caps in my life. I'm just blown away by this right now. Let's keep this pocket party going. Oh, I love it. Oh, man. This is the best. Thank you. If you guys want to donate to the podcast, there's a really cool button. If you go to the description and you just click, and they have different options to do like whatever. Just, I don't want to. I will not elaborate. If you got a few dollars and you want to, let's say we were at a bar and you're like, "Let me buy you a drink." Just look at it like that, or "Let me buy you a cup of coffee," or something like that. But anywho, what else? August 29th, I will be at the Ontario Improv. If you know somebody in the Ontario area, let them know I'll be there. Also, I'm going to go home to Fresno for Thanksgiving. So any of my buddies or podcast pals listen to the podcast, let them know. I will be there the Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving. So that Friday and Saturday after Thanksgiving, it's like November, what is it, like the 23rd and 24th, as I'm shuffling papers in the background. Big shout out to Jim Bryan Music. He's the guy that does the "Everybody Listen to Darren Carter." I love it. And also Curtis Marsh Music he does the guitar version. Anyways, we got a lot coming up on this episode. Look up Len Bias sometime. That's going to come up in the conversation. Len Bias. Wow, we go deep on this one. You guys, thank you for being a part of this podcast, and let's get into it right here, right now.
Everybody listen to Darren Carter. We all know he's the party starter. So if you want to listen to a podcast for free, then listen to The Pocket Party.
And we're back. Hey, everybody. I'm at there's a Burbank Comedy Festival, and I live in, close to this comedy club. So I thought, let me stop by And I ran into a couple of buddies. I got Kevin Alderman and Dean Larit should pop in. And if any other comics walk by, I'm going to put them on. I did find a quiet part of the comedy club. Earlier, it was like, a madhouse. People are walking around buzzing. And I thought maybe it might be a little too loud. And this girl did pass out. She was about to faint.
She did.
And that was some drama where I was like, oh, that could be good. But that could be good podcast fodder in the background. But she was okay. They gave her a nice pack. But it was, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kevin Alderman.
Hello, what's up, man? How you
And they
doing?
know you from your new podcast, which is called...
Well, the name is still being searched for. It
Yeah.
started out as Too Old for This Mess.
Too Old for This Mess.
Basically, a comedian trying to navigate his way through the streets of Hollywood, I guess.
So tell us, when you say too old for this, how old are you now?
51.
51. And you started late in comedy. You
I did.
You had you broke those golden handcuffs.
I sure did. Yeah.
Some guys are like, I want to be a comedian, but they never do it. And then one day when you were in your early 40s, living in North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually 40 years old when I started thinking about it. Of course, it's always something I've always wanted to do. But then you get married and have kids, and then you got to take care. You got to take care of, responsibilities and things. But then as life continues on, you start to think, man, is this really what I want to do for the rest of my life? And it wasn't. I mean, the answer was pretty simple for me. Although we did well financially, and we worked hard, we built a business, and we lived in the suburbs, all that great stuff that people think about, or that is like what you're supposed to do, I guess.
Yeah.
But at 40, I'm like, I am miserable, man. I don't like this at all.
So was it nice that you've already had a house and stuff? So when you come to LA and you see how high rent is and everything, like,
oh my God,
you're like, well, I've had the backyard and the front porch. I get it. Like,
yeah, I honestly, even at my age, I'd much rather live in an apartment than a house. And I talk about this on stage a little bit because that means I don't have to fix anything ever again. Like last week, Last week I flushed a pillowcase down the toilet just to watch the maintenance man deal with it. No, but it's...
Well, you're not going to last long in California with...
No, I do. I like...
That's a joke. I know you didn't do that. That is funny.
Yeah.
Is it a joke? Is it?
Maybe, I don't know. No, I like living in an apartment because of those reasons. But, living in a house is it's overrated, I think. There's so much yard work involved, and it's so expensive. But even though my ex-wife, she has the house now, and her
yeah, no shit.
No, she has everything.
All the listeners are going, yeah, no shit,
yeah,
pal.
She has the house. I sold her my business. I sold her the house. Gave everything to her.
Yeah.
But her mortgage payment is $1,500 a month. It's a 5-bedroom house.
Whoa.
In Charlotte with a pool in the backyard. $1,500.
Damn.
A 1-bedroom in LA is $2,000.
Oh yeah.
So it's a totally different situation, obviously.
But here you get to live in LA.
You live in LA, and I'm here doing what I want to do.
Yes, exactly.
I enjoyed. I mean, I'm grateful, I should say, for the income I had and the life I had and raised my 2 kids. I'm grateful for all that. But literally, even though I make less money now,
mm-hmm.
I'm 1,000 times happier because I feel like I'm finally doing what I truly want to do with my life, which is be a stand-up comedian and an actor, which is something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid.
That's awesome.
And
that
I
you
finally
did
got myself to a point.
Hold on, we just got a new guest
hey.
coming in. It's the Podcast Gold. You know him from 2 other episodes. It's Dr. Dean Larit.
Dr. Dean.
He's a comic. And Dean, with these mics, since you guys are sharing a splitter, you have to put it right there on your mouth very loud because mine's louder, I believe, than yours. So
put it
you
right
guys
in your
have
mouth
to put
there,
it right.
Even putting it in my mouth.
Like you've never heard that before,
I've
right?
never heard this one before.
Yeah, so even
working down at the docks.
Instead of like this,
put it on your mouth.
Instead of like this, try to even go like this more.
Seriously?
Like, yeah, seriously.
Okay. So how's everybody? How's everybody doing?
He's
well,
good. He was
man.
just walked in. We literally just started, and he said that how he walked away from everything to pursue the dream of stand-up comedy. Like did you drive to California from North Carolina? Or?
I flew and I had my car shipped.
Wow.
So and that was the first. I got here 3 years ago.
When you flew out, were you like, like people were like, did you have like that bubble in your heart, like, yay, I'm coming, I'm living the dream? Or were you kind of sad, like, damn, I left that chapter of my life behind me?
No, I actually was very excited. I mean, I had gotten divorced and I was living in an apartment in Charlotte, and I was dating this girl. We were pretty serious, a couple of years, but as I started thinking, man, I gave up my business, I gave up my house, I got divorced. And because I want to do comedy. If I'm going to do this, I don't think Charlotte, North Carolina is where I probably should be. I think I probably need to be one of the 2 big markets. So I went to New York City, stayed there for a week, just kind of feel out the scene.
I thought you were going to say Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and Toledo.
yeah.
I went to Milwaukee because I
Paducah,
grew up
Kentucky.
watching Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days.
I love the beer there. No, so I went to New York and checked out the market, and then came to L.A. And the L.A. comedy scene was so dramatically different than the New York comedy scene. Like, I had bumped into some celebrity comedians that I'd worked with before, and they kind of just shunned me. Which
In L.A. they shunned you?
no,
or
New
on the
York,
road?
in New York.
Oh.
And it didn't bother me. I didn't even think about it until I came to L.A. The shunning part didn't bother me. It's like, whatever, I don't really care. But when I came to L.A., the total opposite happened. Like, Donnell Rawlings, I saw him, never met him before. I was at the comedy
Ashley
store.
Larry from the Dave Chappelle Show.
He's great, really cool guy.
Rep by a very dear friend of mine, Jason Steinberg.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Jason's his manager.
You never
yeah.
told me this.
Okay.
Damn,
you know
this
Jason.
is the 3rd podcast. You never told me that. He's
You
a
know
dear
Jason.
friend. Have him hook me up.
I know, right?
But you know who he is.
No.
Jason's the guy who discovered Chappelle. He's the guy who discovered Bill Burr.
Oh wow.
I thought that was Barry Katz.
Who do you think was the one running around at night?
Oh.
They were that was his partner.
Oh,
Yeah.
Barry Katz is okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's
He's
correct.
Yeah.
Jason Steinberg's the
Wow.
guy.
I was just joking about the.
Yeah.
You never told me your best friend was going to make my career.
I know.
I'm sitting here in an empty comedy club.
struggling.
You're sitting here in the Yoo-Hoo room.
I know. What
Like,
the
what are you
fudge?
doing, man? All the love he's given you, and you can't return the favor.
Yeah, I know. I put you on 3 podcasts, asshole.
Where's the return favor?
You didn't even have to audition for this.
No, you can anytime you want to go to the East Coast, Jason Steinberg would he'll get
Oh,
you up.
shit. There you go.
I like
Yeah.
that. Cool, my man.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Shout out to Jason Steinberg.
Hell yeah.
We know
guy.
you're listening, Jason. Thank you.
Call me.
Call me.
No, so I came out here, and Donnell was so cool. I saw him, and I go, oh man, I'm Kevin. I'm a comedian from North Carolina. I go, love you. You're so funny. And he says to me, cool, man. He goes, you want to do my show at the Laugh Factory? I'm like, huh? Like, yeah. And sure enough, he put me in Chocolate Sundays. I'm like, this is cool. And then when I was in North Carolina, Roy Wood Jr. came out there, and I opened for him at a show, and we talked. And I was telling him about coming out to California, and he says something to me. He goes, yeah, he goes, I get a lot of people telling me that stuff, but, a lot of people don't carry through. He goes, but if you do, here's my number. Hit me up when you come out. So sure
Yeah.
enough, I hit him up, and he came out. He was so cool. He met me at the Comedy Store. He bought me a couple drinks, and we're talking about different areas to get an apartment at. I'm like, this is a totally different scene than the New York scene.
I would have figured it would be the other way around. 'cause
People say that too, but for some reason, I mean, Ray Grady. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Is
fantastic.
he from? Where's he from?
I don't know. I don't know where he's from.
Because I saw him. I've only seen him in one club, and it was really funny. But I don't even. I don't know how experienced he is, but to me he seemed pretty
He's
pretty
great.
funny.
Yeah, he's really good.
Because he had this one bit that was really funny. He goes something about he has a rough voice too, right? Like
Yeah,
real
he's
gravelly.
like a real alpha male kind
Yeah,
of guy.
he's like, let me tell you, if you're a real man,
yeah.
how do you put your socks on, Dean? How do you put your socks on?
Sitting on a couch or a chair.
You ain't a real man. That's what he says. Ladies, if your man sit down to put on his socks, he's a little soft in the tank. Or something like that. I don't know about soft in the tank, but is
Yeah.
that the word? Soft in the tank? Sugar in the tank? Whatever.
Yeah.
And I laughed at that. We're all laughing, and then
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but I always sit down to put my socks on. And the next night I thought, let me try to stand up and put my socks. You can't really do it unless you're like
it's
think
funny.
about it.
When I was earlier, when I was younger, I used to study martial arts and Jeet Kune Do.
which we were talking
We
about
talked about
before.
that
yeah.
earlier. And one of the things my sifu is what they call it, would tell us to do is when you get dressed, put your socks on, your pants on, everything on, standing up, because you learn balance.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I've actually done that before. I put my socks on standing up.
Balance.
But now I'm fuck it, I'm sitting down.
You're like, I'm safe. I'm home. No
I'm
one's
fine. No one can
I'm
hurt
by
me.
myself in here. Like, what if you're so paranoid? Like, I dropped the soap. I leave it there. Ain't no one sneaking behind me in the shower. I'm an alpha male.
No,
Let's talk about that. You know what? It's interesting you said that because that brought up memories with the balance and reading stuff. I remember when I was a kid, I got this karate book, and I don't even know what it was. It was just like it was a karate book, and then on some of the pages they'd have a guy doing the poses and do this and that, and I was like, You know, and I remember one time I stopped. See, I used to get influenced too much by other kids because I brought it to school and this kid made fun of me, and I felt like, oh. He was like, oh, someone's gonna try to kick your ass. You're gonna be like, hold on, let me look at page 47. What do I do? And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm stop carrying this karate book around. But one of the things they said speaking of balance like that, and in dressing yourself, one of the things it said, practice doing things out of your comfort zone, as far as like if you always do something with your right hand, try doing it with your left hand. If you always walk home on this particular side of the street, then try the other side of the street, you know, just to put yourself, I guess, balance, you know, don't get in the same pattern of doing things, I guess, I don't know. And then, you know, bouncing a basketball, I don't know, something like that, you know?
Yeah. I think we get used to, what is easiest for us, or what we get proficient at something, and we just stay with that, and then we lose ability, or we shouldn't say lose ability, we don't gain an ability that we could have.
Correct.
Like left-handed stuff. Like I can throw a baseball left-handed or right-handed. I'm a right-handed person.
Wow.
But because I just, for some reason, I like the idea. I can throw a football left-handed.
Wow.
And I don't know why. I think it's probably from martial arts.
Do you hit the heavy bag? Do you put gloves on?
I love that.
And so you're right-handed. You're probably really strong with your right hand. Now, how's your left hand? Like your jab?
My left hook is pretty solid.
The left hook is, yeah.
I can probably knock out a 12-year-old.
Ooh, why'd you have to go put an age on it? I feel sad.
Yeah, because that's probably as strong as I can do right now. I mean, a 13-year-old would kick my butt.
He's a pedo fighter.
Zing!
I'll be here all week.
There's a reason you know these high power managers.
No, it's so funny because now it's like
that's the name of the pod. That's the name of this episode. Kevin Alderman, pedo. Fine. I will not say that. I will not do that.
No.
By the way, there's another guy that did something like that. Shout out to Steve Hofstetter.
Oh.
He has red hair.
Yeah.
And he calls his fans redophiles.
Right.
Or something. But I looked at it real quickly and I thought it said the other word.
Do you know what I call my fan?
What do you call this person? Ex-wife.
Aldermaniac.
Aldermaniac.
Yeah,
like
Aldermania is my thing. My hashtag is Aldermania on the move. And
I like that.
when I do get fans, they'll be Aldermaniacs.
I like that.
So.
But yeah, that's good because that sounds. You know, you got to believe it. You will achieve it. You have to.
Catchy, hopefully.
No, I know. I call mine party starters.
Yeah, there you go.
I call them party starters. I didn't at first. I was like, oh, but I'm the party. No, but they're party starters.
People I still think you got to get the T-shirts.
Yeah.
About what I said with pocket party.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a great thing with having two hands inside your pants pocket.
Hold the mic like this.
Oh,
sorry.
Like literally like that.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, literally
because. All right.
Only because mine is sensitive, and you guys have to like talk into it more. So you're thinking, what was your idea? A T-shirt?
Remember I told you the T-shirt, Darren Carter Pocket Party Starter, whatever, and it was the shirt would be like black hypothetically, and then it would be like a denim thing of like shorts or whatever, you know, and your hands going in to your pocket. Then you realize for the first time, that you're like, wait a second, pocket party. Oh shit, I didn't realize what I was doing. That pocket party means, you know, playing with yourself in your pants. So,
dude, this is like when I came
up
with
realize this.
I didn't realize this.
He didn't realize.
No.
Yeah.
I was not trying to be funny at all.
I don't think you were.
I was trying to be innocent, like, because I'm thinking it's called the podcast. It's called Pocket Party because you know at any moment you can pull out your device and I will entertain you with my buddies.
Okay.
My buddies,
Yeah.
you know, like this week it's Kevin and Dean,
Yeah.
and we'll start that pocket party with you guys, you know, or. But it's so funny. Then I told a buddy of mine that, and he goes, "Dude, that sounds kind of pervy." Pocket party. Yeah, I know, and I'm like, God, I felt like a gullible old man that was like, just totally naive, you know. Like, can you imagine? Like, I call my podcast 69 because that's the year I was born. It's my favorite year. And you guys check out my new podcast. It's called Glory Hole. No, because it's glorious, and you put the thing in your holes of your ears. Oh boy.
No, when I first heard Pocket Party, I think for a split second, I thought of something, you know, dirty, but then then it just went away because I figured you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be legit or whatever.
Yeah. What's that, Dean?
So.
That noise? I
totally. No, I know what it is, but do you hear it? I
don't think so. I don't think it's.
okay.
I don't think it will be significant.
Okay.
We're in this building that makes all this crazy noise
because
Kevin just did a podcast with his phone, and there was all the ambiance, but it picked up the voices pretty well.
It
came out really great. I heard.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
So what's been going on? Oh, I've come to the conclusion in this life that as a human being, you will never hear a bigger thank you in your life than when you place the divider down on the checkout conveyor belt. The thank you that you get is so non-exponentially deserved. It's as if you've cured every worry. And these people, they almost break out, oh my God, he
separated his fruits and vegetables from mine.
This humankind is not destroyed.
It's ridiculous. I just, I can't believe how people get so, thank you so much. Thank you. Like I found their child.
Yeah.
It's just, it's hilarious.
On the flip side of that, though, have you ever done this where someone has paid for their groceries, they're getting the bags, but while they're kind of getting their stuff together, the cashier is ringing up your groceries and sliding them over to the other person's groceries.
Oh, and they're like, oh, God,
and you're wondering,
they're touching.
Is she taking my stuff? Is she going to take my, my cantaloupe or something like that? Is she going to put it in her bag? And am I going to see it? Am I the only one that thinks like that?
Yeah.
Because I do that all the time.
Touch my
because I look over, I go, don't take my shit now.
Do you guys ever look at this like late? Because I go to this 24-hour Vaughn sometimes, and I notice like, I haven't noticed this in a while. When but a couple of years ago, I wrote this joke about it. I think it was some truth to it. Like late at night, it seems like men would be buying alcohol and women would be buying ice cream.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Let us know, folks.
Let us know.
The listener at home. What do you buy after 2 a.m.?
Send us your thoughts. But no, it's literally, I've come to the conclusion that all wars around the world over land could be solved by having a divider.
Dude, it sounds like you could do this as a Jerry Seinfeld bit.
What's the deal with that? Well, all you really need
you're for
is
the
a divider.
Yeah. What's with the West Bank?
What's the deal with that? And the other thing that's
Can you put? I'm sorry. This mic is. Yeah.
You really hear it now, right? The difference when I go like this as compared to this, you really notice the difference? Really? That's really crazy. Okay. Yeah. Cool. The other thing that I noticed the other day, the dating app Bumble? Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you swipe...
I'm sorry. I love how Dean's using my podcast as stage time.
Oh, no. Oh, okay.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Here's what I think I noticed.
All right, never mind. No,
have you been driving
lately?
Do it. No, do it. Tell us about Bumble. Because I want to talk about dating after this.
Yeah, this is actually true. Bumble, the dating app, if you swipe on somebody left, which means you're not interested... That left is not
means
interested.
not interested. Okay.
Yeah, right is you like.
By the way, I married 20. It'll be 21 years this month. So I got married in '97. I got married. Put that in perspective. I got married in the 1900s.
Right.
So this is totally. So Bumble. I know it's like Tinder and Bumble.
Bumble is an
Bumble
app for
is
dating.
Left means I'm not into you. Right
swiping
means
left means I'm not into you.
And right means that
we're
right for each other.
Exactly. I guess. Yeah.
There's another one too.
And
what's the other one?
Tinder.
If you swipe up. You super like.
Really?
Yeah, there's a super like, but that's only on like Tinder, I think, right?
I thought it was on both.
I thought it was Tinder.
Do people do women super like you guys back? Do you know if they super liked you?
I have no clue. No.
Well, apparently, apparently based on our answers, they probably are capable of doing it, but neither one of us.
Neither one of you know. You guys are like, I have no idea. No one's ever super liked me.
No one's ever super liked.
So is he on Bumble right now? Are you on Bumble?
No. We have a fourth guest coming in.
Allan Cunningham.
Allan Cunningham. Yes. That's right. There's no mic
Cunningham.
Though. Can you?
What the hell's wrong with you?
Yo, what's going on, beautiful people? This is comedian Allan Cunningham up here with these funny
motherfuckers
in the podcast, in your pocket.
In your pocket.
In your pocket. I'm up here with some funny cats, man. Darren Carter, the damn party starter. Kevin Alderman. He sounds like he's running for office. And
Dean Larit.
Dean Larit in the house. He does Jerry Seinfeld impressions and shit.
No.
I heard.
Yeah. I picked up. Yeah.
I heard the impression. It was. You sounded just like him.
Average.
Average.
Yeah.
No, that shit was on point.
All right.
Because I can't sound like anyone.
So wait. So on Bumble. So I want to get this. So when you swipe left, not interested. When you swipe right, you're interested.
Yeah.
However, you can make a mistake and realize, oh man, I actually might have been interested in that person.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Yes.
So there's a actual thing that Bumble will let you backtrack 3 times a day, 3 times over the course of a day. But the procedure to do so is you have to grip your phone and shake it very vigorously.
Really?
I swear to God.
They make you do this.
I swear to God.
You shake it.
You shake it up and down and in and out away from your body. So I find it interesting and ironic that the motion I do with my hands is the same motion I do that gets me interested in going on the app in the first place, is going to be the same motion I will be doing after that girl rejects me that I vigorously shook my hands to.
You're like, I super like you. I super like you.
I've done that where I backtrack and I looked again and go, I wasted a backtrack on this.
Right.
But with the Tinder and Bumble thing, here's what my confusion was. I think you're right with Tinder. If you swipe up, it's a super like.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you're correct on that. But what throws you off is with Bumble, to look at the pictures, you swipe up on the pictures. On Tinder, you have to just touch the screen and move it.
I find this stuff must be super addictive for guys because I'll be hanging. I'll have dinner with the buddy.
Biggest waste of time.
And I remember one time he was just looking at his phone, and we're surrounded by beautiful women. I'm sure are single. And I just want to be like, dude, stop looking at your phone and look around. Like you're never going to get anybody of substance doing that. I don't know. Well, I would imagine. I don't know.
I think it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
You are correct, by the way, Ken. I just did it.
Kevin.
Kevin.
Don't ever do that again.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did that.
No, you're right. So you have to. Bumble.
I just went up like this, and it's a super like.
Is that Bumble?
This is Tinder.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though.
Oh, good. That machine went off.
So when you're on Bumble and you're swiping the pictures up to look at the pictures, you kind of get accustomed to that. Then if you go over to Tinder and you swipe up on Tinder when that's not how it works, what happens is you inadvertently super like the person. And so that's happened a couple of times. Have you done that?
I know exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
So what do they do? These girls hit you back and be like, "Hey, you liked me."
Yeah. In a perfect world.
Yeah.
Okay. You have to remember these women. Go ahead, Allan.
I have never super liked someone and they replied back to me.
Oh.
They ignore my super likes.
You have
he's
to
too needy.
remember
He's too he likes me too much.
I super liked the woman and she ignored me. And I had somebody super like me and I hit them back and they ignored me too
because they were like,
it was a mistake.
They were like, "Ooh, it was an accident." I don't
it was
really
an
super
accident.
like.
They should have like super hate, despise you.
Oh my God!
Change that shirt.
Would never go out
Shit like that.
Would
Yeah,
never
they
even
should.
think of dating you. But the thing that you have to remember, these women, and I say this in defense of them, these women are getting 500, 700 hits a day.
Their egos must be out of control. They must think that they're so beautiful and desired by men.
So they're going to take almost like an auctioneer. Who's got dinner tonight?
Exactly. Dean Larit, chiropractor in Studio City. Kevin Alderman, he gave up everything, moved cross country, and now he's in the studios.
And it's who's going to take me out for the bigger, better deal. And it's sad. It's sad, but you do have
what's it called? The bigger, better
deal.
I call the shinier object syndrome.
Yeah, shinier object.
My ex-girlfriend pulled that bullshit on me.
Mastro's a steakhouse, whatever,
But that being said, though, if you want to be positive about it, is like if they've got
I'm
500 or
a
700,
comedian. I want to be negative.
If they got a 500 or 700,
they should put that grocery store bar between
what's
me
the
and
deal with that?
He does do a good Seinfeld impression.
He does a great Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I do a decent. You know what? I've spoken to him so many times when I used to manage the Melrose Improv from 1990 to 93, and that was again with the fucking mic stand. And that was the heyday when Jerry had just gotten hot, from that show. But he would always.
I'm laughing because I gave you mic adjustments. I'm like,
right.
But
Allan Cunningham has officially left the room.
Okay,
he's got to call his Bumble girl.
Come back because I want to.
He just swiped on a Bumble girl.
You told a funny story the other day. I'd love for you to tell. But okay.
Right.
So
yes.
But yeah. Seinfeld. He.
I'm sorry. What I was about to say is like I go.
John Parinci is here. Quite possibly the top 5 impressionist in Hollywood.
That's right. What I was going to tell you is with the.
And if we didn't,
who does he do? Let's do a quick impression before you get out of here. Yeah. Who do you got? Who does he do impressions of?
He'll rattle.
What do you got? Give us a little.
200 of them.
No way! Wow.
I seriously do.
Here we go.
Hey, how you doing?
Cool. What do you got? Oh, he'll start morphing.
He'll morph into character.
Are you single or are you married?
I'm freaking single, okay? Got a freaking problem with that?
That's nice. And then do you do this dating online stuff or? That was Tommy
Joe
Smothers.
Pesci, you freaking wacky, you man.
Oh yeah, do some Joe Pesci. What do you?
let's see, I'm from New York, okay? And I hear it all the freaking time. The guy goes up to you and say, hey, you Italian? What are you? Get the frick out of here. I'm going to freaking whack you. You give me some freaking money.
Joe Pesci.
Okay.
I
don't really. Who else?
Yeah, how about Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, how you good? Good to be here, Darren. Yeah, I can't believe I'm here. Yeah.
Dean, what the?
You're so cool to be here.
Who else you got? I like that. Get down.
Actually, you know what I mean? You actually
Get down now. I'm going to kick your ass. Get out.
That's what he said to his maid when his wife pulled in.
Hello.
Get down.
Maria's home. Get down.
Get down. Get down.
If I care, you do a lot of voices. You do. I've noticed that about you.
For the listeners at home, he's looking right at me, the host, Darren Carter. He's like, you do, you. Who's you? I'll tell you what, let's have an impression off, even if we don't do the impression.
I can't do any impression.
That's what we'll make it funny. Give us somebody.
How about we all, we have to do you.
We'll do
me.
We have to do you, because if you can't do anybody, then we have to.
My voice is an average middle-aged white dude who can't do that.
I'll start first.
Okay.
So then I ran into Roy Wood Jr. and the guy, I couldn't believe it. The guy bought me a couple of drinks. We started looking at apartments together. And yeah. No, I was doing Kevin Alderman.
So sad.
That was how you talked. You were like, you're very, very humble. I'm from North Carolina.
I thought you were doing Roy Wood Jr.
Give us somebody else.
I can do
give us somebody
impression.
more famous than
one
Kevin
of
Alderman.
one of my favorite comedians of all time. Okay, he started 30 years ago, and he went on David Letterman, and he got his own show. And his name is Ray Romano. Yeah, I can't believe I got my own show.
Ray Romano was Frankenstein.
I thought if that was Ray Romano was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I just woke up and I talk like in slow motion. Ah.
I can do one
Seriously, how
impression.
does he talk like that?
I can do one impression from an old actor named Jimmy Stewart.
Okay.
And all I can do is say a line in this movie he does. He goes, wait just a minute here. That's it.
Wait just a minute here.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Mr. Potter. Something like that.
Yeah, that's even better than mine.
I can't believe it. That.
I don't do impressions or accents.
I do accents all the
I
time.
noticed that about you. That
Who's you?
You, Darren Carter. That you throw in voices very vicariously.
You do, Darren.
Like
Throw in a voice.
You're actually
Come on.
you're a strong impressionist.
I never.
Do the guy that you met the other day, the ex-Marine or ex.
That is. So this is a buddy of ours.
how you doing?
This is great because there was a guy. Shout out to him if he's listening. I'm not going to say his real name. Shout out. We'll call him Bob. And
There's
he's
always
like,
a Bob.
Yeah, I know. There's always a Bob. I go. He goes, so Darren, he goes, I was thinking about starting a podcast myself.
No way.
Yeah,
No
and
way.
I go,
This is a Marine? Dude?
Yeah, he was drafted in Vietnam, and he's like 71, I believe. He's a really cool guy. And he goes like this. He goes, I go, what are you going to call it? And he goes, I'm going to call it Sex Over 70.
Wow.
And I go, hey, Bob, you got to talk about what you know.
Dude.
And he laughed.
That is a mouthful, no pun intended.
Yeah.
I did a senior home in Charlotte, and I was so worried about offending them, so I was very clean. Then towards the end, I started doing a little edgier stuff, and I noticed that they were reacting more to that. They love it, dude. And after the show, I was talking to this elderly dude. He goes, listen, because of Viagra, the highest rate of STDs is in the senior citizen community because of Viagra, and they're about to die. They're like, let's just do it.
Can't believe that. Okay.
Oh, it's amazing. They have sex all the time, dude. Just pop a Viagra and they're boning.
They
all
super
the time.
like each other.
They super like each other.
I swiped up on my cane.
Yeah, sex over 70s is true. There's a lot of
So
sex.
like he's great because he's. I actually want to get him on the podcast because I'll ask him questions and I'll go. Like he'll throw out a question. Like one day I saw him and he's the guy that if you guys listened to the podcast earlier, one of the episodes I talked about who invented the high five and where the high five came from.
I think I've seen that.
Because I went to give him the fist bump and he goes, I wonder who came up with the fist bump or the high five. Yeah, it was a baseball player in Dodgers. Yeah, and the guy that invented it. Because he goes, normally it wasn't like a normal five. It was like the five that was way up there, and the other guy had to reach up for it. And the dude that invented it goes. He goes, I want people, that moment you're about to high-five somebody, that good feeling you have.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to feel all the time. That, how great is that when your life is like that? But he goes like this. He goes, I wonder who invented the high five. And he goes, it'd be interesting to look up. And I go, do you have a smartphone on you? I don't have a smartphone, Darren. People are addicted to their smartphones. And you know why they're addicted? Because they're in color. Darren, look at your phone and see if there's an option to put it in black and white. I bet you'll look at your phone a lot less.
Wow.
And I go, and if he ever has a question, he goes, I'll look it up Tuesday at the library.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he writes down things on a piece of paper, and on Tuesdays he goes and looks them up.
School,
It's
yeah.
he's a smart dude. He knows a lot of stuff. What's that? He doesn't have a computer? He doesn't have a computer, I don't think. But he goes to the public library and I look it up.
That's got to be hard to talk to someone like that, though, because it's almost like they're doing a dramatic scene every time you're talking to them, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like we're all talking, we're chiming in, we're moving right along. But then someone like that who becomes like dramatic and he's like doing a scene, it's like everyone has to stop and just let this guy get what he's saying out. You know,
Sex over 70.
Sex over 70.
All right.
That's hilarious.
Let's have you guys swap. Dean, I'll have you sit back there. Do you have any other impressions before you?
Yeah. I can keep it going.
Yeah, you can sit there and pass the mic. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, give the mic to Dean and then
So
Allan.
I'll sit next to Allan.
I want Allan to tell the story. If you could give him the microphone.
Allan's got a story for us.
So we were talking about.
Go on, Allan.
Last
give us the story.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell
us the story.
I'm gonna tell a story.
About remember you're dating some girl. We're talking about boxing and
Oh,
the heavy bag and
yes, the heavy bag because Darren Carter is doing a boxing thing now. You know, to get in shape because this is a beautiful workout. Get you cut up, stomach, 6-pack, back, beautiful. Get you dancing and rhythm right and everything.
By the way, that was a little depressing yesterday. You go, how long you been boxing? And do you remember what I told you?
Like 3 years.
Yeah, I go. Well, I've been there for like 3 years, and you just pause. Go,
Dropping your right hand.
No, not even that. He was like, because he probably thought I was gonna say like a week or something, you know.
Right.
And then I go 3 years, then you look at me, you're like, you need to change your diet. Because all this getting cut and it ain't working on you, D. You should have seen me before. I am. Hey, give him the mic because I want Dean to. Yeah, Dean can.
No, your arms have definitely changed since you started. No,
Yeah, he's getting.
Look at that! Look
definitely
at that lighting.
His arms have got.
His arms are getting
Yeah,
cut up. He's
definitely.
getting formed. Yeah.
Shoulders.
I noticed it on
But
stage.
the gut, though, the gut thing is it's not that bad, but
I would super like you in Bumble.
it's cool if you're a girl, I guess.
No, definitely noticeable.
Yeah, it is. It's noticeable.
But look at this guy, real quick, before you go any further. Look at this guy. How old are you?
54.
54. You got a 6-pack.
Yeah, but I like he said, I jumping rope today in Runyon Canyon, man, up in the hills, man.
That jump roping is a beast.
Jumping rope is and I eat like a horse, man.
See, a lot of people don't realize that when you're in shape, you
I
eat a
watch
lot of food.
I know. I eat a
Yeah,
yes.
that's
I
correct.
eat a
You in
lot
shape,
of
you
food.
eat a lot of fucking
I
food.
do. I like to eat.
To get the 6-pack together.
Tonight I had hummus and carrots and celery though. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
at this.
You
Take a
he
picture
have
of
to
that.
eat a lot.
should we get a picture
But
of
that's
that?
54.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean seriously, but 58.
Let's see your 6-pack.
Let's see the 6.
Yeah.
Let's see the top 4.
He looks.
He's got a keg.
No,
Bad?
no, you're not. That
So
bad.
Allan, you're at this girl's house.
So I'm at this girl's house because she does this workout.
That was so Howard Stern like just now what you just did. Because in other words, somebody else in the room was doing something and you just went, so Allan, you were at this guy. That was so Stern.
So this girl, she does this, she does a boxing workout, right? So she hung this big heavy bag in her garage. And, she just hung it up. Her brother hung it up for her, right? So I go over to the house, whatever, after the show, and she shows me her heavy bag. So I look at the heavy bag, and I punched that bitch one time.
Did you have a glove on or hand wraps?
Bare hand.
Wow.
I punched the.
But you're from Detroit.
I'm from Detroit. We punch cars. That's what we do. That's what
it's the devil's night before Halloween.
Yes, indeed. So I punched the damn heavy bag one time, and it flew off the damn chain, and it flew across the room. And I felt like a gorilla. I felt like a beast.
Like, damn,
and I
I'm a
looked
natural.
in my head. I was like, I can't believe what the fuck you just did. But I stood there like I do this shit all the time because because she was there. I didn't realize that they hung the heavy bag wrong. You know what I'm saying? So a kid could have pushed it off,
So
and
it
it would
just
have
like
So they hung it wrong. So the hook, when they hung it, it just flung over really easily. But it made me look like a beast.
Yeah.
So I got
Badass.
some pussy.
All right.
I got some
Punch
pussy
my car, man.
from punching them.
Punch again.
Tommy Hearns was Detroit.
We can't hear you.
Tommy Hearns.
Give him the mic real quick. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Thomas Hearns was Detroit.
Tommy Hearns, Crunch,
And-
Jim, Detroit.
And where did Hagler fight out of? Hagler was a
Hagler.
bad motherfucker.
Hagler was bad
man.
as shit.
Oh.
He was
Well,
fighting
he
in
learned
prison.
how to fight in prison.
He learned how to fight in
He
prison.
learned how to fight in prison. But
Yep.
where is he from? Isn't he from
I don't know
Keep
where
the
Hagler
mic
is
just
from.
like this. I'm sorry. I'm a professional.
By the way, for those who cannot see what's actually happening, I am being constantly touted into instructed how to.
Because
how
Dean
to
is
hold my-
podcast gold. I got to get every syllable into this
All right, all right,
microphone.
all right.
Each enunciation have to be.
But yeah, Hagler I thought was Detroit. Are you looking
I don't
him
know
up?
Hagler. I don't
He's
know.
looking him up right now.
I do. All I do know is Hagler did start in prison,
Yeah.
and he fought his way out of prison.
Right.
And then he met Thomas Hearns,
And then
then they had a brawl.
they had some good fights.
They had some really good fights.
The other night, he's from
New
New Jersey.
Jersey.
Hagler? What
New
part?
Jersey. Newark.
Oh well, that's
Wow.
like Detroit.
It's just the same thing.
That's the same freaking
Same
place. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, yeah.
When he grew up there, now it's all regentrified, but that's a bad area, man. When he was there, I didn't know Hagler was a Jersey boy.
Yeah, and people ask me all the time, who do I think will win between Mayweather and Thomas Hearns? And shit,
I would have to give the edge to the reach in
you know
that
what?
fight.
It's you always for some apparent reason people always go old school because people was tougher back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Like
go with Hearns. Man.
Yeah. People was tougher back in the day. Like my father was way tougher than me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not a bitch, but my father
Right.
you know, I asked my father
yeah.
one time when I was 19, I was like, hey, Dad, do you think you at 19 can beat me at 19? He laughed, and he said, I'd have fucked you up.
Damn.
I tell you a funny story. I could laugh about it now, but back then I shouldn't even be saying this. But I grew up, as Darren knows a little bit. I grew up with a father that sort of ran around with some shady characters. My father was in the coffee business, so who the coffee?
He was a barista at Starbucks.
Yeah. Okay. very tough barrister.
Frappuccino.
He was a guy who if you're selling coffee, who are you going to sell to? You're going to sell to the mobsters who own restaurants.
Right.
So he ran around with a shady group, and but my father had a bad temper, and he did lay hands on me quite a few times. I got
Same
the
here.
shit kicked out of me.
Right.
Okay. Quite a bit, and yeah, he knows a little bit about my backstory. And
When you say lay hands, you mean
my
like
father beat the shit out of me with a dog's leash. With a dog's leash, a
Damn.
metallic dog's leash, not a strap, not a belt.
Yeah.
A metallic leash we used to get beaten with.
Wow.
Okay, and so, but he used to say to me, he goes, and it ended up. I'm happy that this all happened because
Right.
I ended up not getting into trouble because of fear.
Yeah, because you
him,
needed it. Yeah.
of him. I wasn't worried about the police. I was worried about him. Okay, so. So one day my father put his hand on me. I was lifting weights. I was 16 and a half years old, starting to get a little size and all this stuff. And I grabbed his arm, his hand as he hit me, as he went to hit me. It was at the dinner table. He went to hit me, and I grabbed his forearm. And I held it. And I said, stop it. No more. Enough with putting. You got something to say to me? Talk to me. I'm your son. All right, talk to me. I said, otherwise, let's go outside. This is what I said to my father.
What?
I said this to my father. I said, otherwise, let's go downstairs. We had a lawn in front of the garden apartment.
Right.
And he looks at me, he goes, and he just looked at me and he went, you don't want to do that. That's what he said to me. He goes, you don't want, think, he said to me, he goes, you think you want to do that.
Yeah.
He says, but you really don't want to do that.
He was right.
He was 100% right.
He was 100% right.
So, but
they was built differently, man.
Yes.
They had this.
My son's listening. He's 10 years old. He loves this podcast. He goes, it's like I'm on an adventure with you and your friends. Oh, cool. So, Austin, you don't want to do that.
Stay in your lane, Austin.
Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Yeah.
Stay in your lane.
But it's scary though, because my son does Taekwondo. He's a black belt now, so
Yeah.
it's
Is he
like,
really?
yeah. My wife and I were joking. We're like, we're training you to protect us, not beat us up. So you don't.
I always love the theory when kids become black belts at 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like, are you really? Is there anybody ever in a bar going, "Don't mess with that kid, man"?
Dude,
He
he will fuck you up
it's his
third
eighth-
degree.
It's his eighth birthday today. Do not mess with this guy. Guy's a black belt.
He's gonna blow the candles out with his nose.
Right.
I remember one time I had.
8 years old. Okay, let's go. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Adam Hunter, because he's
just
big
had
into
a baby.
and he's big into the MMA, and he does the MMA
Huge.
podcast and all that kind of stuff. He said the same thing. He goes, "No offense, but I don't know, man. He goes, anybody under 18, like his children becoming black belts." And it was funny because the very next day when I went to the Taekwondo, it was like a Friday, so they were letting the kids play dodgeball, and so I took a little picture. And I sent it to Adam. I go, "Hey, what are you talking? Look at these black belts." And they're like doing dodgeball and pizza and shit.
Congrats, Adam. He just had a baby. Yeah.
Congrats.
Last week. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, back to your story. So
Yeah,
your
back to
dad,
your-
you guys were like,
Yeah. So my father, he same situation.
he was from Detroit also.
No, my father was from Alabama. All the black people back in the 60s, a lot of black people back in the 60s, they migrated to the north up, Chicago,
wonder why.
Detroit.
Just
because of it was opportunity, it was jobs.
Opportunity.
Because you can
Right,
work
yeah,
in a
exactly.
factory in Detroit without a college education or without a high school education.
Yeah.
You could work in a factory in Detroit. So, and you could buy a home. You can have an American dream by working in a factory in Detroit and Cleveland and all
that
of
sounds
those.
so great.
It
That
was
sounds
beautiful.
awesome.
And people was back. People, from what I hear, they was starting working in Chrysler at age 12, and then they was buying homes and shit, and they was actually providing for their family, and they gave their kids a better life.
Yeah.
And so my old dude, I mean, he was my father got drafted to the play Major League Baseball. Yeah, he was a beast. And after he got drafted, he went to go celebrate. Him and his friends. He got into a bad car accident.
Oh no.
And he had his left leg broke in all kind of places. He could never bend it again. So he had this pin going down his left leg, and he just couldn't bend his left leg at all anymore.
Wow.
So he got drafted. They went to go celebrate, and then that just
Ended his whole career. He used to have to take his pants, tuck his pants in his sock, and then put his pants on. So when he put his pants on, the sock will automatically roll on his foot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is way before I got into town. Just way before I met met my mother. Way before I existed. So he and with his
Before I got into town.
I know before I got
Before you
into
were
town.
born.
Before I was born.
I love black people. You guys
Right
are so
before I
poetic.
moved.
Before I came into town.
It's way before I rolled into
Jay Leno
town.
there?
Alan
He likes
was a
cars.
rolling stone.
I love Detroit because I love cars.
It's part of that whole Motown thing. I
That's
love it.
Motown, baby. Before I rolled in town, you know.
Motown, man.
Yeah. So my father, he could
Love
never
it.
bend his left leg, and I remember growing up, he used to make me cut his toenail, right?
What?
And yeah, it was fucked up because because my father from Alabama, man, he had them hard ass feet.
Oh my god.
And his toenail used to curve over his front toe.
Oh my God.
Like he could, you know, he could stand on his toe.
Oh wow.
It was brown, like a ballerina,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And it was
Ballerina.
brown. So the toenail clippers couldn't cut his toenail.
So when he tiptoed, it was actually louder.
it was loud as hell.
Is
When
Dad
he took
coming
his-
down the hall.
Yeah, when he put his shoes on, it was quiet. He could walk around the house quietly. When he took his shoes off, you can hear. It's like bullshit. You can hear like his clicking his toenails. So his toenail clippers was too soft to cut his toenails. So Isaac had to bend it and twist and shit his toenail, and white flakes was falling from the nail. It was disgusting. And I was like 9 trying to cut this grown man's toenail because my mother wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? So that was our punishment at first when we was little kids. When my mother was a disciplinarian in the family, but when we get on my father's nerves, come in here and cut my toenail. That's how he used to make us. He used to make us do that shit. But yeah, we actually me and my father had our first fight when I turned 14 years old.
Wow.
First fight.
Throw punches?
Did he actually throw punches? I threw punches.
Never connected.
No, I hit him. I hit him.
Really?
I hit him. Yeah. I hit him. And he
You always regret.
yeah, it was
That's amazing.
I hit him a couple of times. He took the hits. He slapped me a few times, but he took the hits.
Do you remember where you hit him, like body, face?
Body.
Body, yeah.
I hit him in the body.
Like, get away from me, Dad. Blah, blah,
Yeah, it
blah.
was because he was an alcoholic. I understand because he passed away. I understand why, because of his the shit he didn't make it to the NBA. I mean, he didn't make it to the basketball. I mean, baseball. You know what I'm saying? He because his dreams. You know what I'm saying? He got drafted. That shit is deep. He got drafted, so he didn't make it because he was hanging out with his stupid friend and the accident. So he became an alcoholic. He was still in the house, and he was abusive to my mother. You know what I mean? And they used to fight. My mother didn't take an ass whooping. You know, she was fighting them back. You know what I'm saying? But she was a woman, so she always lost. She'd wait for him to go to sleep, pour hot water on him.
Damn.
Shit
I like
that.
her already,
yeah,
man.
This shit was my family was crazy.
I like her already.
He used to come home drunk as fuck, you know. And he used to come home drunk as hell. And as soon as he go to sleep, his friends would leave. My mother would beat him with something.
Damn.
He'd wake up in the morning sore.
Ouch.
Yeah, and he never knew why he was sore. He's like, why the fuck am I sore? So one day he had his friends take him home. He was fucked up. So when they left, they laid him down. They left. My mother came in the room with a bat, and he woke up like, I got your ass. Because he played like he was drunk because he wanted to find out why he was so sore. You know what I'm saying? So they laughed it off. But yeah, it was an abusive relationship.
They laughed it off.
They laughed it off.
Surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise and shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, Cheryl.
You're a funny motherfucker.
It was some silly shit going on in my household.
What do you mean I'm funny?
Funny how?
I amuse you? I'm here to amuse you?
Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I was the youngest of the four brothers. I was the youngest of the four brothers, right? And so
well, they probably had a soft spot for the youngest boy. I mean, come on, you know.
it was I was the youngest one.
Yeah.
And all of my brothers had to fight my father to protect my mother. I'm the only one
that ever connected.
I ended up throwing him out his own house when I turned 17, and he never was able to come back.
Really?
Yeah, man. I had a crazy ass childhood, dude. Fuck. It was fucking crazy.
All right, but let me tell you something. I'm embarrassed, and my mother, who listens to this, you know, she listens
Hi,
to
Mom.
your
We
podcast.
love you. Thanks for listening.
She'll give me shit for this, but she probably won't at this stage because we've already discussed
Your
it.
mom's so sweet. She called She called, and we played her on the podcast, and it's so sweet. If you guys listen to episode,
the second one.
No,
whatever,
what number
I
is
guess
it? Do you
that's
remember?
13 or 12 or something like that.
Something like
Whichever
that.
one is
Look
2
up
hours
Dean
and
Larit.
25 minutes.
Yes.
All right.
And she's
And
at
it's
the
my
very,
mother leaving
very
a
beginning.
voicemail to me about me and him doing a podcast. It's great stuff.
Oh,
it's
shit,
good
that's
shit.
cool.
And we'll play it for them later on. You know, because it's really cool. But Allan, all the shit you were through.
Yeah.
Did you ever see your father put a 9-inch knife to your mother's throat and threaten to kill her if you say one more word?
I seen him. I didn't see that.
All right, that happened to me. I
yeah.
watched my father. I watched my father put a 9-inch knife to my mother's throat, literally like this, and say one more fucking word. I was holding on to my father's thigh.
How old were you?
4.
Whoa.
And I was holding on to his thigh, screaming at him, please, please. He put the knife right here, and he had a vicious temper.
Yeah.
This guy. Okay.
Don't tell him about this episode.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
I don't want to
You're
pissed
right.
off guy listening.
Yeah, you're right. No, he's 88 years old, walking with a cane. He can't do anything. But he put the knife right to her throat. He says, "You say one more fucking word, just like De Niro. You say one more fucking word, I'm gonna fucking slice your throat in front of the kids." And I had to go to therapy years later for that because it did such damage to me at that age. And I did a lot of research as to why it did such damage to me at that age. And
Are they still together?
Yeah, that's the funny thing. 62 years.
Yeah, that love.
62
that
years.
love lasts forever.
So she goes, and my mother, almost like a black woman, knew where your mom was.
Yeah,
literally
Easy.
went, go ahead, cut my fucking throat. You're gonna really fucking kill me in front of the kids here, okay? That kind of shit.
Wow. And I believe it by that voicemail she left. You know, Dean, I love the podcast, and you know how judgmental I can be. That's what she said.
The best of all time with my father.
I love you, Mom.
I'll never forget this. This is how tough my mother was. She's from Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
All right. Before it got crazy, okay?
Yeah.
So it used to be white Jewish, and then it just got insane. So tells us to come in. She goes, all right, fellas, everybody come in for dinner. You don't know the story.
No.
Hey, come in for dinner. Spaghetti and meatballs. I can see it right now. It was 45 years ago. I can see this right now happening. And my father used to like to watch the news. There was something called the 6 p.m. report. Okay, there was the news, and that's all you had was a 6 and 11 o'clock news. That was it. Jim Jensen was the guy, and so my father used to like to come home from work and take a half hour. It was only a half hour of the news back then.
Right.
And he would like to just lay down in the bed for a half hour, watch the news, and then 6:30, food on the table, blah, blah, blah.
That's just like our home. I bet
really?
you a lot of homes were like that.
Okay, so, this is 19...
The local news and then the national news,
1974. I'm 10 years old.
What year did you come to town?
Did I come to town through the fallopian tube?
Yeah.
Through the tube? I'm here 28 years, December 7th, 89.
So what year did you come to town?
64.
1964.
May 12th, 64.
That's a new phrase.
Oh, yeah, I had no problem. I'm happy with 54.
No, I'm saying that's the new phrase. What year did you come to town?
When did you come to town, baby?
So my mother goes, all right, fellas, come on in, blah, blah. And me and my brother sit across from the table. My father sits right here. My mother would sit there.
Spaghetti and
meatballs. And I take a taste. Nothing. Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good fucking meatballs, the whole deal, blah, the sauce is great, blah, blah, blah. And my father comes in, he sits down, and he takes a taste. And I see his face. And I knew this guy's face already.
Right.
And I'm looking at him, and all right, whatever. My brother and we were scared to death of this guy, okay? And so I'm looking at him, and all of a sudden he looks at her and he goes, this is what you brought me in for? He says, this is friggin' cold. It's ice cold. The sauce is cold. The meatballs are cold. You don't know what you're talking about. My mother, you don't know. The kids aren't having a problem with it. You don't know what you're talking about. It's fine. And he goes, really? It's fine? And he takes the friggin' saucer of it was in a saucer bag, whatever you call that, pasta and meatballs. He takes the friggin' saucer and throws it up against the wall of the kitchen. So picture shooting some guy in the head.
Yeah.
That's all over the place.
Let me ask you a question. Did the pasta stick?
You have to do that on the refrigerator.
It was undercooked.
Right? Because you're supposed to throw it against the thing
I
if it
didn't
sticks.
notice anything. That's why I didn't know what the fuck. I didn't know. I was like, what's this guy's
He just
problem?
wanted to hit the
But
streets.
here's what my mother said to him. This
What?
is how cool my mother. We still we laugh about this now when I go over there, because whenever she cooks pasta and meatballs, we always go, all right, pops, that kind of,
Yeah.
all right, because it's just we now laugh. But my mother literally just went, okay, just like this. She went, okay, I'm going out for a walk now, and this will be completely clean by the time I get back. Otherwise, I'm throwing your ass out of here. Okay, that was her, and that's I to this day. Oh fuck yeah!
He really did?
Oh, absolutely. He cleaned it, and my mother's parents lived across the street. That was a Queens thing.
Yes.
You always I don't know how it was in Detroit, but you always lived. Your aunt and uncle was across the street. Springsteen talks about this in his autobiography that you read. That the whole block was Springsteen's and Zeffirelli's, whatever. The whole family was in an L shape. But it's the same thing. So my grandfather came over with my grandmother, and I'm like, Ralph, what are you doing? What are you doing to your apartment, to your house, to your home? It was literally like there was a crime scene. There was literally that much blood spatter all over the place.
Let me ask you a
Go ahead,
question. As you put the microphone like this, do you
Jerking
think
off this microphone? Go ahead.
When you look back, do you think your father, the reason he did that, it probably had nothing to do with it was stress. It had nothing to do with
making a buck. No money. No money was
Is that what it
coming
was?
in. No money was coming in.
So he's already like stressed.
Totally stressed. He had a job, but nobody made. He had a sales job back then. You weren't a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, he wasn't making it. You was just getting by.
Yeah, you were getting by.
And then you had
good times.
You had families to feed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He
I
has
think
these
about that
2
now
kids
because
to
I
feed.
think about that now with like the way things are now, and it's like we talked earlier before you guys walked in about like how rents are just getting higher and higher and higher, and you feel the stress, and then with comedy you have to have like, you can't just be funny on stage. You have to like how many followers do you have? What are you putting out there? So it's like there's that stress. It's like, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's as far as comedy goes and the income of comedy. I mean, I know when I first started as an MC, I got paid to go MC a club.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone, and now headliners are bringing their own feature, or the clubs are using local features, so that money's basically gone. Yeah. So to make a living just simply as a comedian,
You have to headline all over the country.
you have to be a celebrity, or you have to have a fan base, like you were saying, with all the social media followers, or something.
There was a club I would do in San Diego, and I would headline it and go down there, and they'd put me in a hotel. It was awesome, and then they switched it up where they were like, oh, we're just gonna have local comedians, and then the headliner will throw them $50, and I'm like, no, I'm not driving. Why would I? No.
Yeah, this one place in San Diego. I don't remember the name of it. They offered me $25 a show to headline.
Wow.
I was like, what the hell?
No.
You crazy as hell.
Insane. No.
$25 a show to headline. I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, you can eat a dick. See, back the difference between now and back in the day, because we still go through the same struggles as our parents went through, but we have outlets.
Yeah.
They didn't have any outlets.
Yeah.
My father's outlet was drinking. He would, go to the bar, drink, gamble, shoot pool with his boys, and he had to come home to his family. And they had families at like a young ass age. You know what I'm saying? My father was like 19. No, I'm sorry. He was like 22 years old with almost 3 kids in the house. Married with a wife and 3. You know what I'm saying? So he was a grown ass man as a young adult. And we got outlets. We have the internet and shit.
Yeah.
We have.
You feel less lonely.
You feel less lonely.
You can, like earlier, I just saw when we were doing the podcast, and you sat down quietly. I saw you like posting on Instagram. Like we could like put stuff out there, kind of let people know, hey, I'm over here. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Here's something funny.
Yeah, there's no support groups back in the day. You was just beating your wife and going to work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you said about the knife thing. I remember I was asleep. As a little boy, I was asleep, man, and next thing I know, because my father's yelling, because like you said, I was scared of my father too. We all were. My father yelling and screaming and, bitch, motherfucker, that was normal in our house, right? So.
And that was you saying that.
Yeah, that was me. I was 6. And bitch, these motherfucking cereal, they getting soggy, bitch. Fuck wrong with you. Fuck wrong with you. So I remember I remember being a kid, and it was about 8 o'clock or whatever, 9 o'clock. I had to go to sleep to go to school in the morning, and I'm trying to ignore my parents fighting, and the next thing I know, I smell gasoline, right? And I'm like, because we upstairs, we had an upstairs, we had the first floor, we had a basement where I'm from, so I'm smelling gas. I'm like, what the fuck? So my mother like, come on, get up. So all the 4 boys, she wake us up. We go downstairs. My father, drunk as fuck, he pouring gasoline on the basement floor, telling us, I'm about to burn this motherfucker down.
Wow.
I'm about to burn this motherfucker down. And so I'm scared as fuck because outside it's snowing. It's the wintertime.
Oh, man.
So we couldn't go outside. It's the wintertime. And my father, who is the strongest man in the world to me at 6 years old, about to burn my motherfucking house down. You know what I'm saying? And my mother and I'm like, what the fuck going on? In my head, I'm like, what the fuck going on, mama? And she's trying to calm him down. He's pouring gasoline everywhere. And then he finally put the gasoline can down, and he had the match in his hand.
Oh shit.
And he was bluffing. He just let the match go. I mean, he just blew the match out, walked upstairs, and went to bed.
Wow.
So we had to go to sleep smelling all kind of gasoline fumes.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's not healthy.
It's fucked up. I had a headache.
Yeah.
He never burned the shit down.
So he was just looking for attention or
something? He was just drunk, man, and just...
You know what? There's a story. I
Fucked up.
want to go back to that when you said that he got drafted.
Yeah.
Are you guys familiar with Len Bias?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Put the mic over there
Boston.
with these guys. These guys know.
Familiar. I went to school with him.
Shit.
I was there the night that he died.
Tell the listeners about this.
Len
I was.
Bias
Let me
was the
just
number one pick by the Boston Celtics on June 18th, 1986. I was taking summer classes at University of Maryland.
I knew it was in the 80s.
College Park.
Yeah.
And I get a phone call in the morning. Turn on the TV, so my friend Adam Parmet called me. And I said, what did he fucking call me for? Oh, I'm sleeping, man. He goes, turn on the television, man. You're not going to believe this. I turn it on, and they're wheeling the body of Len Bias out of the from the hospital out to the morgue or whatever, the coroner or whatever. And I go, who is this? What's going on? He says, Len Bias OD'd last night on crack cocaine. And he had a massive heart attack. And I was there taking summer classes that summer I had a very, very strange metaphysical experience. As you can see, my eyes drifting away from you right now because it still bothers me. I had a very, very strange thing happen to me. Do you know the comedian Dan Rosen? It might be a little bit before your time.
I think I've read his name somewhere.
Dan Rosen is infatuated by Len Bias, and he's from Maryland or D.C., I can't remember. And I once sat down and told him a very, very eerie story about Len Bias. But before I get into that, what's your reference to Len Bias? Oh, the drafting that night and then getting into
what
the
I was
blah,
about
blah,
to
blah,
say
blah,
is,
blah.
I remember just being in high school, and the way I remember it, and you would know, if something like, it was like, kid gets drafted to the NBA, not kid, college age kid or whatever.
20 some odd hours later, he was dead.
And then he went to party with cocaine and then overdosed. And not that I would ever do cocaine, but obviously I would never do that.
Crack. They were doing crack.
Oh, then I wasted all this time.
And
I should have been doing cocaine all these
remember
times.
this?
Oh, I remember very well. And that was
Thanks for
one of the
laughing.
reasons why I didn't. I don't want to.
No, go ahead, please.
Okay.
I was just joking about the drugs, but
all right, I'm gonna say,
but that story, I think, if there's anything, it maybe saved some lives because
absolutely.
It did.
people might
It
have
changed the entire.
that was my point.
It changed the entire NCAA, how you could drink on campus and do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it saved my life too, because I said, when I found that shit out, because when I was smoking a little, I did it once when I was in Miami. I'm not proud of it. I just did it.
Crack.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then this shit happened, and I'm like, what am I doing? I could fucking die from this.
Oh yeah.
So him dying made me wake up and go, wait a minute, this is a stupid drug. So I stayed away from it.
Go ahead.
In a roundabout way, he kind of like, him dying, unfortunately, is tragic, but it made me think differently about my life. I'm like, wait a minute, this guy who's going to be a pro athlete, and he does crack one time, and boom, he's dead.
June 19th, 1986.
Yeah.
Just what
wow,
I
you
said.
just Googled it.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I knew.
I was in Miami, Florida.
Wow,
when
good
that
memory.
happened. Yep.
I know it so well because it had such a weird effect on me, man.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Well,
really
no,
shocking.
mine was a weird. Mine was more of a crazy. I've never really told. There's only one person who knows this besides my mother. I can.
Well, now that it's on a podcast, 3 people will hear it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I had a very strange, eerie night. The night that leads into me getting that phone call that he died. There was I was going through this period. I had graduated. I was getting ready to graduate. I was taking summer classes in the University of Maryland, and I studied accounting. That was my major, and I didn't want to be an accountant. And I was going through all this very strange frustration. And a friend of mine, I happened to go up to New York one week, and I told you this story, and I ended up going out on the street and doing a Stallone impersonation where I did Mickey, Burgess Meredith, and Sylvester Stallone in front of 150, 200 people on the street. And that's when I fell in love with the idea of having a microphone in my hand. My friend was a street comedian, okay? And I discussed this in the first podcast. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you...
Tell me again.
But we did.
So you do Rocky and...
I did the entire
Give us a little
scene.
bit right now.
Please. I did the scene where it's
absolutely
where he says, you don't want to know. No, I want to know now. You want to know? I want to know now. Okay, I'm going to tell you because you had the talent to become a good fighter, and instead of that, you break bones for some cheap, second-rate loan shark. It's a living. It's a waste of life. And I did that.
That's good.
And I was good.
That's really
away.
good. Wait. Yeah. Hold on.
Oh, stop.
Round of applause.
Stop. So I even did the spit that he did.
Even did the spit, yeah.
So I went back to school at around this time, early June. I went back to school after that weekend of hanging out in New York with this comedian, and I fell in love with the whole... Because they all started applauding on Columbus Avenue in Manhattan. We okay?
How long has it been, man?
We do 7-hour podcasts. So, yeah, we do. You remember the movie They Shoot Horses, don't they? Yeah, that they do podcasts, don't they? So, so I went back to Maryland, and whatever, maybe it was June 11th, whatever it was, that I went back after that crazy weekend of seeing what that feels like to have people laughing and applauding, and
like we just did.
Right, whatever.
It makes you want to applaud that.
Right.
That's
so
pretty
okay,
cool.
whatever. Neither here nor there. So all all of a sudden I was really
definitely June 11th.
All of a sudden I was very twisted in my head as to, holy shit, I got this accounting degree I'm going to graduate with, but I don't want to be an accountant. I want to do what Kent is doing. My friend Kent Casper, I want to do what he's doing. He's a comedian. That's what I want to get into. I've always wanted to do this. I told you I played Johnny Carson in a school play, and the teacher came over to me.
No way.
Yeah, I did the entire Johnny. I did an entire episode. It was a lot of fun. And
Johnny Carson.
Johnny Carson. My next guest is one of the funniest comedians. And,
Allan Cunningham. He's
Allan
from
Cunningham.
Detroit. He came to town in the 70s.
And his father had a straight leg.
Allan, how hot is it where you live?
Oh my God. Where I live now, it's hot as
I was setting you up for the old style of joke. How hard is it, Johnny?
It is so. How hot is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is so hot that I saw 9 Mexicans in a van eating tacos with 16 Mexicans in a van. I don't know what the fuck that.
Johnny, when did you get racist? After death? What the fudge? Hey-o!
You're funnier, Johnny.
I thought you were going to say something like, I was so hot I
is-
saw a
it is
dog
so
chasing a cat. They were both walking. Or something like that. Like,
It is so
it
hot.
is so hot.
That's funny.
So
in Van Nuys, what does Fraser Smith say? They were cooking meth on the sidewalk.
who's that? Oh, Bumble.
Super
Ooh, she's
like her.
cute. Yeah.
Oh, Alan's on Bumble now.
Super
swiping.
like her.
He likes Nicole. Can I say this? Nicole 33. Nicolette 33.
She's pretty.
God,
Okay, so
bro.
finish your story.
So
Please.
I come back to Maryland, and if I remember correctly, Bias gets drafted Lenny Bias gets drafted on a Monday, if I remember correctly, and I happen to go to this bar, T.J. Bentley's in Maryland in College Park. It was it was a campus bar, and they had all the ESPN, Sports Center, the draft, who got drafted. And everybody's sitting at the bar, and they're all happy because Lenny got drafted today and blah, blah, blah. And I was just looking at the screen and watching, and I'm going, wow, here's a guy who knows what he wants to be, and it happened, and his dream is coming true. And he just got drafted. He's going to play with Larry Bird, and he's going to be coached by Auerbach. Red Auerbach was the coach. Red Auerbach was Auerbach was the coach. It was Auerbach was the coach, and he was looking so forward to playing with him. So this is 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night. And I'm looking and I'm going, man, good for you, Lenny. I'd met him twice. I met him at a party and I met him at the infirmary. I had to pick up an antibiotic, and who knows what he was, getting seen for. But he was a nice guy. I met him at the party. He was a nice guy, gentleman, big guy, phenomenal physique. He was phenomenal. He was just an amazing ball player. And I'm in my own little head here at this bar, and I'm watching all the clips from him from various seasons in Maryland, and I'm going, wow, man, this guy's whole life is going to change now. He'll take home a championship with Bird, and I had to get out of the bar. I just was uncomfortable. I didn't like the way I was feeling. I was so lost in my own life because I had this conflict: accounting or stand-up, accounting, acting. So it was a major thing for me. So I decided to drive up on the campus in Maryland. Excuse me. I decided to drive up to the Cole Fieldhouse track. Okay, Cole Fieldhouse is where they played ball. The Terrapins played, and behind that stadium was a football stadium where the football team played, and around the perimeter of the football stadium was a track. Okay, so who was it? Auerbach?
It looks like Casey Jones, maybe.
Casey Jones was the coach.
I can't quite see that. Can you see that?
Boston Celtics. Type in. Oh, you got it. Yeah. 86. If it's 86, that's when it is. So, and I'm sitting in the bleachers. This place holds 40,000 people for a college football game. I'm sitting in the bleachers all by myself at around 11:30, 11:45, and I'm very depressed because There's definitely a little jealousy. I'm definitely envious. But
Even
I'm
though you
happy
don't
for him.
you don't even play basketball, but you were
No,
like,
I did. I played hoops.
Oh,
I
you
was a very
did?
good hoop player. Yeah. I was a very
so
good
a
hoop
little
player.
bit of the jealousy came from that.
Well, his
too?
dream came true.
'Cause you're like-
My dream as a child was to play NBA ball, but
Oh.
I gave all that up. I was cool with that. I didn't have.
But you were like, here's someone that
it was somebody
he knows
who
what he
had-
wants, and he
knows
got
what he
this
wants,
big break and this
gonna
big
s-
opportunity, and
he's
you're
gonna
like,
sign this huge contract.
and you're like, man,
blah
yeah.
blah, and his life is made, and he'll win a couple of championships with this guy. And I wasn't wishing him bad. It was nothing like
Oh,
that.
I know.
It was.
Yeah, that's what that is. People don't understand. It's not like that we get jealous of other
No,
people.
no.
We get. It's almost like someone's holding up like a mirror, like
Yeah.
or something like.
Wow,
like,
how did he do it?
how did he do it? How can I
Well,
do
that's
that?
what
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a guy who wrote a book. Oh God, what's his name? Lives out here in L.A. Steven something. Anyways.
Oh yeah. I know it. I know. I
What's
love
his
that.
name?
Stephen
Kaplan.
Pressfield. Stephen
No,
Pressfield.
Steve Kaplan.
Steve Kaplan.
I think it's.
Can I just say this real quick?
Yep.
'Cause Steve, and hold that thought. Stephen Pressfield has a great book. I love that book. It's
Yeah.
called. What's it called? I don't know. I always read it. What is it? I read it all the time. Anyways, okay. In this book, look up Stephen Pressfield. This book is amazing.
As
you
you're
guys
looking up,
all have to get a copy
yeah,
of
as
this
you're
book.
looking, I'll do it.
But in the book, he talks about people. There's two lives that we live: the life that we actually live, and then there's
Life
the
we imagine.
there's the unlived
Oh.
life, the life that never happened. It hasn't happened yet. You know. So when Allan talks about his father, it's like that was the time when your father had the life that he lived, but then there was that other life where maybe he was like, what if I played baseball and this happened and that happened? And, you know, it's called The War of Art. That's the name of the book.
Okay.
The War of Art. You got not the art of war, The War of Art. I read that book. What'd you think of The War of Art?
Yeah, it was actually a really good book. It puts you in the mind of it puts you in a mind where it's basically, you know, I barely remember it, but I do.
That was
Dude,
an excellent commentary by Allan.
By the way, it's
Cunningham.
hilarious because as you're doing this, you're swiping on Bumble, and in that book he talks basically about how it's easy. It's what's hard is to do the work, whatever the work is. Like, you know, like for example, we'll go back to this podcast. Okay, it's like I'm gonna buy the equipment, figure out how to do it, spend a lot of time on YouTube watching tutorials, take the time to upload it on YouTube, take the time to put it out there, gather put the work in to get the reward. But it's easier for people to get the reward by doing easier things like I'm just going to order a pizza, that'll make me happy, or I'm just going to swipe on Bumble and get girls, or you know, or I'm going to do graffiti on a wall and get my name on that wall as opposed to becoming a doctor and getting your name on the shingle. Yeah. You know.
Going to your point about like looking at Len Bias or whomever succeeding or whatever, and here's the book, The Hidden Tools of Comedy. Steve Kaplan's his name. Really nice guy. He actually took the time to sit with me and we talked for about an hour over coffee. Really cool guy. But in that book, he talks about with why we humans are so drawn towards people who achieve well. Whether it be music or athletics or whatever, is because that's kind of what we want to strive to be. That's why we're so drawn to that, because that's how we want to be in our lives. But what's interesting about comedy is comedy reveals what reality, what it's really like. We all would love to be the chiseled dude with the six-pack abs who gets the beautiful princess and all that bullshit. That's how we strive. We want that. But in reality, no, we got beer bellies and fucking, you know, one ball hangs lower than the other. Who knows? I don't know.
We're all winning Homer Simpson lookalike contests.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
But that's what's so great about comedy. Not to change the subject, but that's what's so great
Yeah.
about comedy is because it reveals what life is really about. But I think that's why we get so drawn to Len Bias and people like that, because like, oh my God, that'd be so cool. And then we look at humans. Look at the humans can do. Look at their accomplishing. It's amazing.
I can play basketball in the NBA. I could do this. I can hit that home. It could be my turn. They pitch the ball. I hit it, and I go past first base, second base, third base.
Yeah.
I get a home run.
Oh, it's exciting with like, oh, that's so great.
But then comedy's good because, like you said, it's the small little things. Like there's a joke I do. It's like a little throwaway joke. I go, my wife is good in bed. She stays on her side. And the crowd's like, ha ha, because they can.
It's a good joke.
They like that where they're like, oh yeah, I've been in bed with someone, and it's kind of nice after a while when you're like,
But see,
the way I can have more space on my side.
exactly.
You know?
That's like with when you watch porno. That's like that's how you think. That's how you want the sex to be, but you talk about how it really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think you need to, when you do that bit, pull out your cigar, pull out your
Flashlight.
your flashlight, and start doing your California King.
Yeah. Ooh, California King.
That's what I saw immediately.
Extra large
That's what I
bed.
saw immediately. Getting back to Bias, and I'll put this to bed.
Yes.
So now
11:30
it's
at
12
night,
o'clock.
12
at night. I'm
o'clock.
sitting there, and I'm just bummed out. I got this conflict going on in my head. I know if I call my father and tell him, listen, you're going to kill me. I'm not going to do a day's work of accounting, which I never did. With the degree, I had to graduate, and I never did. I never did a day's work. But so then I'm watching around, I'm looking at people jogging around the track. There's 1 or 2 people at 12 midnight, students jogging around the quarter-mile track, 400-meter track, and I just kept thinking about Bias and how do you get to that level? How do you get to all right, that was athletic prowess. That's a different deal. Okay, this is not athletic prowess. This is something. There's a different kind of muscle that you're training.
Stand-up, you mean? Stand-up comedy?
Yeah, there's definitely a stand-up muscle without a doubt. But and I just remember just thinking about this guy and I was really thinking about him weird, just too much. And then the next day, I go to bed at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning that night, whatever. And then by 10 o'clock in the morning, my friend is waking me up going, you're not going to believe this. And I'm like, it was very strange. I went through a very weird period. Did I do something to alter his energy? Did I get it? I went through a lot of weird shit for a couple of weeks. And did I interrupt something in his cardiac rhythm by I don't recall wishing him bad. I wasn't doing anything bad. It really fucked me up for a while.
It must have been so strange.
What are you kidding? I'm sitting and thinking about the guy, and then 8 hours
good for
later
him,
he's
it's
dead.
Awesome. It's
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
That'd be weird.
It was
bizarre.
ridiculous. So this guy who ended up doing a movie or a 30 for 30, ESPN, Dan Rosen, who was a comic, I told him this story when he found out I went to Maryland. He goes, were you by any chance down there with Bias? And I was like, you want to talk? And he was like, yeah, I definitely want to hear about this. So hold on.
You go, I gave him. You got to drink some water.
He's got
There's some water right by the door. Go by that door over there.
Yeah, I got to get me some water, too.
Yeah.
I got to get up out of here, though, fellas.
Allan, it was great having you, man.
Thank you so much, man. I got an audition tomorrow morning, and I have to do the radio with Earthquake on Kevin Hart's studio of Canoga Park. I'm so exhausted because we've been doing the Burbank Comedy Festival all week. I'm fucking exhausted.
Where can people find you on Instagram?
Oh, it's really easy. It's my initials, AC the Comedian. It's at AC the Comedian. You can find me
AC the Comedian.
At AC the Comedian. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, howblackpeoplemeet.com. I'm all over there. No, but yeah, you can find me on Instagram. DM me anytime you want to. I get you free tickets to my show. We perform all over, man. And thanks, Darren, for having me.
Anytime.
Yeah, man.
Have fun on the radio in the morning.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Do you think radio still works? Because I know podcasting does. I feel like podcasting people interact and they really connect. When I did Florida, the Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan, people came out to the Orlando Improv to see me. But when I would do radio, I don't know. I'm not really, I don't know. But maybe this is a big radio show, though.
It's Earthquake's Quake House. It's on satellite.
Sirius XM?
Sirius XM.
That's big. I'll do it sometime. I'd love to do it. Let them know I'd like to do it.
Okay, cool. That'd be dope. Yeah, that'd be real. I'll let them know tomorrow.
I do impressions. I do Rocky and Mickey.
And he spits. He does the spitting part.
I'm so good. I do the spit part. I do Seinfeld at the grocery store. They should put that bar in between my groceries.
Can you do Jimmy Stewart though?
I can't do. I'm just kidding.
I can't do anyone, man. I'm horrible at impressions. I can't.
Poor Dean. I'm gonna have him depressed. He's gonna be at a high school track at 2 a.m. Fucking Darren.
Yeah.
I just want to say to Dean,
radios.
please, if you ever start pondering me, stop.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Don't be thinking about us, Dean.
Don't think about
you and your powers.
Shit, I knew I should.
That was weird.
Yeah, that
huh?
is bizarre.
Yeah.
Allan, thank you, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate it,
All
Darren.
right. Thank you.
Dean and Kevin
What's up?
doing our thing.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night.
All right, buddy.
All
See ya.
right.
See
That
you
was
later.
great.
I'm probably gonna have to take
Sit,
off
Dean.
too soon because I have a business to run in the morning.
Do you have anything to tell us before you leave? Where can we find you?
You can
Alderman.
find me at Kevin Alderman KevinAlderman, and it's just real simple at Kevin Alderman.
Did you grow up in the South?
Yeah, I'm a Navy brat. So I grew up in the South, but we did spend some time in Maryland, and Maine as well.
Did you know Len Bias?
Not personally. I didn't work out with him, but I played. A real quick story. I'll let you goes back to. I played basketball in high school, and was a pretty decent player. And we went to Dunbar to play.
Oh, yeah.
And that's where a lot of pros have come out of Dunbar. They killed us.
That's Baltimore, right?
Yeah, it's up in that. Yeah, they killed us. But so I go down there. It's the first time in Dunbar, right? And literally, I'm the only white guy in the basketball team. And like an idiot, when I left for the trip,
Allan's gone. Let it loose.
And when I left for the trip, I forgot my jockstrap. And back then, I wore boxer shorts.
Oh man!
So I'm in the locker room, and I have a choice to make. I'm either going to wear no underwear under my shorts.
Right.
And this is back in the 80s when the shorts were short.
Right.
So
Pistol Pete.
Mr. Dangling would be hanging out if I was up and down the court. So I thought I have to wear the boxer shorts. But the boxer shorts were longer than the basketball shorts.
Right.
Which nowadays, who cares, right? Nowadays, people love to show off their underwear.
But I was running up and down the basketball court, only white dude in the basketball team with his boxer shorts hanging lower than my basketball shorts at Dunbar High School, where pros have come out of. I was like, wow, this was embarrassing.
Chappelle didn't go to Dunbar. No, he didn't go to Dunbar.
No, he's DC though.
He was in DC, yeah. But yeah, that was a weird experience, you know. So and I've only told that to a handful of people. That was a very, very it set me aback a little bit. I got a little like, whoa, what the hell? What just happened? So, you know,
that's spooky.
Yeah, a little on the spooky side.
Yep.
You know, so. But I think about him a lot, like always in June, because I always go, wow, man, you know, what he would have done in the NBA. Because he would have ownership now in the Celtics. It's 32 years ago. This guy's career would have played 13, 14 years, and he'd be coaching or scouting or, you know, part owner of the freaking Celtics.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
know,
so it was a terrible...
Before we go, real quick, do you have time to tell a quick story? We were talking earlier before we started this podcast about... studying martial arts, and then we asked you, like, did you ever get to use it? And you said you actually got to use it once when you were a Navy brat.
Yeah. I was telling Dean earlier.
Yeah. How old were you at that time?
I was probably 18 at the time, and we lived on this in Maryland, at Patuxent River Navy Base in Maryland, and me and my buddies were out just on the base doing whatever you do at 18 when you got nothing to do. You just go around, goof around, whatever. Well, this dude that lived there was I guess a seaman, which is always a funny name for Navy guys. But he was a little drunk, and he was just talking shit, and we were like, yeah, whatever. And then he was getting really serious about it. He really just wanted to fight. I think he was just angry and just wanted to fight
angry
somebody.
guys, yeah.
And so...
And you guys were just teenagers?
Yeah, 18 years old. All about 18. And so then he started really kind of coming after us. I'm like, what the hell? And so he got in my face, and he pushed me. And I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. So I back up a little bit, and I said, dude, don't do it. Don't do it. He said, what are you going to do, you little punk? You know, and I did my spinning back kick and just nailed him right in his ribs. He went down like a fucking sack of potatoes. Just boom, hit the ground. Couldn't breathe. And we're just like looking at him and go, all right, well, we're out of here. We just turned around and walked away. And that was it. And he got up and walked him back into his house. That's the only time I ever had to use it.
That's cool.
Which was exciting.
It felt good though, right? Spinning back kick, and you
dude.
hit the target like right where you didn't like, because you know you might miss.
Oh yeah, but that's the kick that I really worked on a lot. That was my favorite kick.
So did I.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man.
After, like we were talking on your podcast, after Officer and Gentleman,
yeah,
that's when I fell in love with that kick when Richard Gere did that.
Oh yeah,
and I miss not being able to do that. I don't have
dude.
I don't have the hips anymore.
I don't have them either. Yeah.
Because you got to get a lot of torque. You got to get a lot of torque. You know.
Otherwise, it looks. Yeah, I'm sure. Like, I've seen videos of people not doing things well.
Yeah.
Like at auditions. Like there's some funny video where people trying to do karate in an audition, and it's like.
Dude, I used to be able to kick straight up in the air and hold it straight up in the air like that, up over my head. Now there's no way.
The hips are.
No, dude. I went to work out today.
But some guys are still keeping shape like that.
I know, and I let it go.
Yeah.
I let it go, and I wish I wouldn't have, because now I'm struggling. But I did today. I did wind sprints today, and my knees are so screwed up. I can't sprint full speed now.
What are you doing? 30-second.
I do like 50 yards,
oh, okay.
and I walk back, and I do 10 of them.
That's
but
good,
now
man.
it's like I can't do full sprints now because my knees.
Do you
are
go about
just-
80%, 90%?
Yeah,
Put the
about 80.
put the patella cutout knee braces on.
Okay.
Yeah, the ones that have the patella
It's
cut
the inner
out.
part of my knee that.
So
on
it's the
both of 'em.
medial collateral ligament.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
like,
hold on
I
one
can't
second.
push it.
John, thanks, man. Thanks for
Oh, you taking
stopping
off,
by.
brother?
Where can we find you on social media?
All right,
Where
man.
can
Do just like a quick 5 more voices.
All right. Quick 5 more.
Do like do Ed
I like Jay
O'Neill. Ed
Leno.
O'Neill. Ed
I
O'Neill.
worked with Jay Leno a long time ago.
Okay, Leno.
Oh yeah, I like Jay. Yeah, every time he talks like he's taking on helium. You know, how you doing, John? You're funny. Yeah. You know,
He goes, Al Bundy. Hey, how you doing? You're a pretty funny guy, John. Hey, you can't see my face. You're on a podcast.
hi, Dad. Then you got the guy from the Family Guy. How you doing, John? Make me laugh. And so, here's an old one. Here's one of the first ones I ever did. We're talking 30 years ago. I swear, I saw this video. I was going to show this Dean, remember? 1988, and I'm doing stand-up in Orlando, Florida, and everyone loved the Andy Griffith show back then.
Love that show.
Andrew Griffith show, and I used to do Floyd the Barber selling pot, and to Andy, he goes, Floyd, what the hell are you doing? He goes, Andy. I'm here to sell some Sensimilia so we can make a little bit, get high and make a little money. Andy.
3 more.
So yeah.
You're like an encouraging father.
I know. Exactly.
3 more.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah. Oh, they get it.
Stallone.
How about Owen
How about just
Wilson?
one more?
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson. Yeah. Or
That's
you know,
good.
Owen Wilson sounds just like Whoopi Goldberg. You know, just, hi, how you doing? It's Owen Wilson. Yeah, so Whoopi Goldberg too. Wow, you're amazing. This is great. Wow, yeah.
Nice. How about a hand for you guys?
John Parinci.
Oh, yeah.
John Parinci.
John Parinci. Okay,
Thank you very
cool.
much,
Thank you,
baby.
John.
Thanks,
Where can we
Darren.
find John? Where can we find John on
John?
social media?
John Parinci. I'm all over YouTube, and and I'm just looking at my
First
J-O-N.
First Impression Entertainment.
First impression. Actually, my website is Johnny P. JohnnyP.com.
Thank
yeah,
you.
JONNIE.com. So, thanks, Darren. It was a great time.
You're
man.
welcome, man. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All
Very
right.
cool. That was fun as usual.
Yeah.
Very good. Do you have fun on the podcast?
Yeah.
Nice,
That's always
huh?
fun.
It was fun,
cool.
dude. I really appreciate it.
Time. Hell, what the hell do you want? I was talking to your man Mike outside. He says you're looking for a sparring partner for Creed. Yeah, some guy from Miles Juergens. Oh, yeah? Looking for a sparring? Yeah, looking for a sparring partner for Creed. Yeah, put me on him. I can go for that. Yeah, absolutely.
I could go for that. Absolutely.
You know, put me on him. I said that before, you dumb dago. Hey, listen, I've been coming here for 6 years. If for 6 years you've been sticking it to me, I want to know how come. You don't want to know. I want to know how come.
I want to know how come.
Go ahead, finish it.
I don't know the lyrics, though. I don't know
Because
the
you
lines.
had the talent to
I feel like
become
I
the
could
lyrics.
do Sylvester Stallone, and you could do the thing. Who does the best for Sylvester Stallone, me or Dean?
Well,
Or I'll do Dean.
okay.
Give me a line. Yeah, I'll tell you. Do Rocky. Only do Rocky, and then I'll follow it with my Rocky impression.
Oh, okay.
We'll go line for line.
Yeah, I was talking with your man Mike. He says you're looking for a sparring partner for Creed.
I was talking to your man Mike. He said he was looking for a sparring partner with Creed.
I said that before, you dumb dago.
I said that before, you dumb dago.
Damn. Both are pretty good. I
think your Sylvester Stallone was pretty good right there, though. Go
I
ahead.
think
It actually was pretty good.
I think your Stallone, no offense
Darren
to you,
Carter
it was
Stallone?
better because it's sounded deeper. The voice
Absolutely.
sounded deeper.
I think it's
which
time to
to
step
me,
down and
Stallone's
retire.
got a deeper voice.
And maybe, you know,
I don't really know the words.
I don't know the lyrics.
But you, yeah,
But you do that Mickey thing pretty good.
Time.
So-
Hell, what the hell do you want?
Because I used to do Floyd the Barber. I used to do like Floyd the Barber. I used to do it more like this, like Andy. Ooh.
Yeah.
But I used to do it when like.
I thought that was a pretty good answer.
It's pretty good, but I used to do like that West Side Connection, those rappers from back in the 80s, like, ooh, Andy, they told us to bow down, Andy. If they come to our town, bow down. Ooh, the Crips are representing Andy. Ooh. But I stopped. I don't know. I'm not really big in impressions that much.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking out that window for? Is someone trying to
I
get
can
us
keep
out of
hearing
here?
John. It was John
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to get out of the out of flappers.
Follow the exit
I need
sign.
to get out of here too. Like I said,
okay.
I got a business to run. But you can find me at Kevin Alderman. My website's kevinalderman.com.
I think you may have picked up a new Aldermaniac.
Hey, man.
Took you long enough to get
That'd be
here.
great.
Absolutely. You guys, thank you so much. And
Dude, my pleasure, bro.
Well, my
pleasure.
place stink.
Thank you.
That's right, it stinks.
Thanks, brother.
I didn't ask no favors from you. Don't flaunt around me. Some guy offers me to fight. All right, I'll fight the fight and get my face kicked in. And you want to be there ringside? Is that what you want? Legs ain't working, arms ain't working, nothing working. You want to be there ringside?
Are we on? No, we're not even on. Are we on? All right.
Good stuff, man.
So what kind of business in Des Moines? What do you do?
I had my comedy cartel business.
okay,
Yeah, my
okay.
apartment. I got to start calling apartment communities and booking shows.
So what about, can we get some gigs or what's the story?
Well, Darren Carter's done a couple of gigs.
Oh, you have? You've done a few for him? Whereabouts?
Where did I send you? I don't remember.
we did it again. Man, thank you guys for hanging in there and listening all the way to the very end. Like I said, if you want, please feel free to donate. Go to the description in this podcast. You'll see the link at Anchor. And throw us a few dollars, and I'll give you a shout-out. And we'll figure this out, man, together to make this podcast even better. Maybe I can put them out more frequently, you know. Get my own studio, get a lot more guests, reach out to some big stars, and be able to flip them, $50 each time they come on, like my buddy Ari Shafir is able to do. That's pretty awesome. What else? Please review and rate on iTunes. You guys are great. And until then, retweet this link, share it on Facebook, whatever you can do to spread the word about this pocket party. You guys are great. We'll talk to you soon. Love you, and keep that party going.